Most people spend their whole lives being dragged around by their own thoughts. A mood hits them in the morning, and that mood dictates the entire day. Someone says one rude comment, and suddenly they're replaying it over and over, giving it free rent in their head. And here's the sad truth. Most people never question it. They assume, well, that's just how I am. That's my personality, I can't help it. But what if that's wrong? What if your brain isn't some fixed machine you're stuck with, but clay you can shape? What if the anxiety, the anger, the overthinking, all those runaway emotions aren't who you are? They're just patterns your mind has rehearsed for too long, and patterns can be broken. Patterns can be rewired. That's what the Stoics knew. 2,000 years ago, they figured out something science is finally proving today. Your thoughts don't have to control you. You can train your brain like you'd train a muscle. You can rewire your mind so that instead of being hijacked by every emotion, you choose how to respond. And when you do that, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your entire life. Here's the thing. Most people want control over everything out there, their circumstances, other people, the future. The Stoics flipped it. They said, real freedom comes from mastering what's in here, your own mind. That's the battlefield. So let's dive in. 1. The enemy isn't out there, it's in here. The Stoics had this brutal clarity. Suffering doesn't come from events, it comes from how we interpret them. Someone insults you. You can explode, or you can shrug. Same event, different brain wiring, which means the real enemy isn't the world, it's the way your mind reacts to it. Here's the thing. Once you see that, you stop being a victim of bad days. You start asking, how much of my pain is real? And how much is me choosing the wrong perspective? Think about it. How many times have you replayed a tiny problem in your head until it felt huge? That's your mind working against you. What if you trained it to work for you instead? 2. Control the first thought, then the second. Here's a Stoic trick. You don't control your first thought. It just hits you. Someone cuts you off in traffic and boom, anger flares up. That's automatic. But you do control the second thought. That's the fork in the road. Do you feed the anger with a story about how people are idiots? Or do you cut the power by saying, not worth my peace? What this really means is, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to stop emotions from rising. You just need to train yourself to step in at the second thought. Imagine if you caught 50% of your negative spirals at the second thought. That alone could change your entire week. 3. Emotions are just data, not commands. Stoicism doesn't say, don't feel. It says, feel it, but don't be ruled by it. Emotions are signals. They tell you something's happening. Fear says, possible danger. Anger says, boundary crossed. But here's the mistake. Most people treat emotions like orders instead of information. The Stoic move, acknowledge the emotion, then decide consciously what to do. Just because fear shows up doesn't mean you obey it. 4. The Stoic role model. The Stoics didn't just talk theory, they lived it. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, wrote daily reminders to himself to stay calm, to stay humble, to control his mind when everything around him was chaos. He was running an empire, leading wars, losing children, and he still said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. If he could do it under that weight, then so can we in our smaller lives. 5. Train like an athlete of the mind. Think about it. Athletes don't just show up on game day and hope for the best. They drill, they condition, they push through discomfort on purpose. The Stoics saw life the same way. You don't wait for a crisis to practice self-control. You train daily, in small ways, so when the storm hits, you're ready. Skip the dessert to practice saying no. Take a cold shower to practice embracing discomfort. Journal every night to sharpen your perspective. These are not random habits, they're mental push-ups. If you want strength under pressure, you've got to earn it in the quiet, ordinary moments. What mental workout did you do today? 6. Use setbacks as training. Most people think obstacles are interruptions. The Stoics flipped it. The obstacle is the way. Every problem is raw material for growth. Someone criticizes you? That's a chance to practice patience. You lose money? That's a chance to practice resilience. When you frame setbacks as training, you stop asking, why me? And start asking, how can this make me stronger? That switch alone rewires your brain from victim to warrior. 7. The power of daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every morning and night, not for an audience, but for himself. Reflection is how you catch your patterns, spot your mistakes, and reinforce your growth. Here's a simple drill. At night, ask 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fail to live up to my values? How will I do better tomorrow? That habit alone will slowly carve new pathways in your brain. Imagine if you stacked just 365 nights of reflection. Do you think you'd still be the same person a year from now? Not a chance. 8. Gratitude as armor. The Stoics weren't all about doom and grit. They also practiced gratitude, but not the shallow, write 3 things kind. They looked at life itself as borrowed time. They said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That wasn't morbid, it was fuel. When you remember life isn't guaranteed, suddenly traffic isn't a big deal. A delay isn't worth rage. Gratitude shifts your brain into appreciation, and appreciation is one of the strongest antidotes to negative wiring. 9. Repetition builds identity. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you're not just controlling an emotion, you're casting a vote for who you are. Do it once, it's a choice. Do it 10 times, it's a pattern. Do it 100 times, it's your identity. This is how you literally rewire your brain, through repetition. The Stoics weren't interested in quick hacks. They believed character was built brick by brick, choice by choice. 10. Living proof that it works. Remember, Stoicism isn't theory locked in dusty books. It's been tested by emperors, slaves, soldiers, and ordinary people for over 2 millennia. Epictetus was born a slave. Marcus Aurelius ruled the empire. 2 opposite lives, same philosophy, and both found freedom in mastering their minds. The circumstances couldn't have been more different, but the wiring was the same. Control what you can, accept what you can't, and rise above the noise. If it worked in the extremes of slavery and empire, why wouldn't it work in your daily life? The choice is yours. Here's the bottom line. You are not stuck with the wiring you have right now. Your brain is plastic, your reactions are trainable, and the Stoics left us the playbook. Control the second thought, use emotions as data, practice discomfort, reflect daily, live with gratitude, and always draw the line between what's yours to control and what isn't. But here's the kicker. None of this changes your life unless you actually practice it. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because the truth is, your brain is rewiring itself every day, whether you're intentional or not. The only question is, who's in charge of that process? You or your impulses? So let me leave you with this challenge. Today, just once, catch yourself in the moment. Pause, step into the gap, and choose differently. That single act is proof you're not your old wiring anymore. That's the first step to becoming the master of your mind.